What's going on YouTube? H-Dub here, and we about to take a look at what is coming next in Raid. I know everyone has had a ton of questions lately. Why is CVC canceled? What is going on? Is Live Arena coming? Find it all out now. Alright, so we got the video loaded up. Let's take a look.
Hey everyone, welcome to the first What's Next in Raid episode of 2023. It's only fitting that we kick the year off with some huge news about what's coming to the game. So let's waste no time in getting right into it. First up, let's start with the new PvE content. We're supercharging some of our familiar dungeon bosses, making for a really tough endgame challenge. Introducing Hard Mode Dungeons.
Right,
when we say hard mode,
so we knew hard dungeons were coming. That information was given like what, 2 weeks ago or so. People were had already like found that out. So
we mean hard mode. These aren't just minor buffs and tweaks. We've really changed up the mechanics and abilities of these bosses, adding devilish new twists to old classics. That's not to say you'll have to change how you approach dungeons entirely. Old stages will remain the same, with these remix dungeons being accessible via 10 extra stages for the Dragon's Lair, Ice Golem's Peak, Fire Knight's Castle, and Spider's Den. So, let's meet our combatants. These bosses weren't exactly nice to start off with, but a creeping darkness has tainted them even further. They're tougher, stronger, and more brutal than their regular counterparts. So, bring your A game. Let's start with the noxious dragon, its tainted Hellraiser. Rather than more fire, this malevolent fiend has doubled down on horrific poisons.
That is so many poisons. 3 turns as well.
Fire skill will apply twice as many poison debuffs.
But this is great for Jing Wong comps because Jing Wong is just gonna literally put the poisons right back on him.
As its normal counterpart, Wall of Fire, and it beefs up Tainted Hellraiser with a 50% increase attack buff.
Granted, he probably will need like significantly more speed to like run that comp, but I feel like that comp still shines here easily.
For good measure. Also, his secret skill, Toxic Incineration, will activate all poison debuffs on your champions at once.
Oh, wait.
Buff
so he places it.
Also, his secret skill, Toxic Incineration, will activate all poison debuffs on your champions at once.
Secret skill. I wonder. Okay.
This caustic explosion can deal major damage, so be sure to bring someone who can cleanse these poisons from your team. Now, let's take a look at Tainted Clysis and see what new tricks he's hiding up his frozen sleeves. Debilitating Frost will remove all debuffs from Tainted Clysis and decrease your team's turn meter by 30%. Also, he's now utterly immune to poisons. Makes sense, seeing as he's literally made from ice.
Oh my god, they literally tried to kill Poison Explosion.
Ice. So, how do you defeat something made of ice? You melt it.
HP Burn.
HP Burn is your friend here. It deals 10% more damage to Tainted Clysis and destroys the max HP of his minions, making it easier to put them back into the ground whenever they get dragged back into the fight. Needless to say, some teams that used to shine in this dungeon will be getting the cold shoulder from Tainted Clysis instead. Be prepared to...
So Walking Tomb Drang is going to be OP. Geomancer comps are going to be OP. You can obviously use Ninja if you have
change your teams accordingly.
Ton of HP
Next
burn
up,
champs
the Ice
in the
Golem's
game.
hot-tempered
Sissia is gonna be crazy.
Tainted Fyro, the Fire Knight. If you thought his shield was nasty before, just wait until you see it now. It goes from needing 12 hits to break in stage 25 of normal mode to needing 21 hits in stage 10 of hard mode, and that's not even your biggest worry. Attacking Tainted Fyro's shield will destroy your champion's max HP by 1%. Need more HP destruction? His Corrupting Blaze skill also destroys your team's HP by 15% of the damage dealt, meaning whatever he does, your HP is taking a hit. You'll need to find a way to counter this, or else Tainted Fyro will be carving through your champions like a hot knife through butter. Oh, and he's immune to turn meter reduction too. Sorry, all you.
What? So they made it 21 hits and you can't control the turn meter? What is the catch here? How do we do this?
You Cold Heart and Allure fans. However, all hope is not lost. Turns out Tainted Fyro just needs to chill out. Okay, using freeze may not literally
So a freeze champ.
freeze him, but it will cause him to lose 15% of his turn meter per freeze debuff. Cool. Let's move on to our next star.
Per freeze debuff. So if you extend the freeze debuff, does it decrease his turn meter? Like if you keep extending freeze, does it decrease his turn meter every time he like receives a count?
However, all hope is not lost. Turns out Tainted Fyro just needs to chill out. Okay, using freeze may not literally freeze him, but it will cause him to lose 15% of his turn meter per freeze debuff. Cool. Let's move on to our next star, Tainted Scavag, and her endless brood of spiderlings. The changes to her dungeon should send shivers down your spine. First, Tainted Scavag is immune to turn meter reduction and HP burn. We're not kidding. In fact, if you've got HP burn on her spiderlings, each AP burn activation will now partially heal her. So you'll definitely want to avoid that. Also, her spiderlings are immune to freeze, so that old trick won't save you either. However, where one door closes, another one opens. Each time a spiderling dies, Scavag loses a chunk of her HP. So,
Oh man, this is gonna be easy. What? You probably gonna need like empowerment and stuff to really get this done, but I mean, I feel like there's always a workaround, but she's losing HP if the spiderlings die. What's the catch with the spiderlings? Okay, we can't freeze them. HP burn's gonna heal. Clearly we can stun them. True fear. Is there a catch?
upping your area of effect game and blasting her entire clutch to Kingdom Come is now a viable strategy. Another saving grace is that hard mode spiderlings aren't any tougher than they are on stage 25 of normal mode. So
easy.
if you can splat them there, you can splat them here. Overall, hard mode dungeons live up to their name, and taking them on is well worth the effort. Along with yielding greater rewards and more event or clan v clan tournament points, hard mode dungeons will also drop mythical artifacts and accessories. Until now, you could only get mythical artifacts from Hydra battles, but it wasn't exactly
We already
easy
knew that,
location to
though.
farm. Once hard mode dungeons go live, you'll get to choose which sets to hunt for and have more ways to earn mythical artifacts and accessories. And trust me, you'll want these mythical goodies to prepare for the challenges we've got cooking this year. Speaking of challenges, we all know that the best thing in life is to crush your enemies, climb the ranks of the arena, and become the best in the world. But until now, you could only test your strength against AI-controlled defense teams, and we know you all dreamed of more than that. You want to go head-to-head with other players to feel the thrill of real-time PvP and test your skill against opponents as cunning as you are. Now, at last, we can say that dream is becoming reality. Live Arena is coming to Raid. We're super excited about it and can't wait to see how Raid's PvP scene will evolve after the feature goes live. We won't go into too much detail.
The year of PvP, and he says we won't go into too much detail.
Will evolve after the feature goes live. We won't go into too much detail today, so consider this an appetizer before a full feature preview video later this year.
Okay.
Live Arena will be available to all players who are level 50 and above. You can queue up for battles several times a day on a set schedule, a necessary measure to avoid long wait times in a PvE-focused game like Raid. Once you've queued up, you'll be added to the matchmaking pool, and you'll get matched up against an opponent as soon as possible. After pairing up with an opponent, the Battle of Wits begins with picking champions. During this phase, both players will pick their champions one by one, building a team of 5. Each player will then get to ban a single enemy champion from the fight and choose their team leader. No doubt some of you more devious players will come up with plenty of mind games for this. Oh, and one thing to mention, you won't be able to use duplicate champions in the higher Live Arena tiers.
What? This is literally gonna take so long to pick comps. And there's gonna be 5 champs instead of 4 now? Was there 5 champs on that? No, right? On on that screenshot we had, there was only 4 champs on each side.
Once the teams have been drafted, the battle begins. It won't be all that
Wait. So why are there 5 slots again? You can ban one.
Who's their team leader? No doubt some of you more devious players will come up with plenty of mind games for this. Oh, and one thing to mention, you won't be able to use duplicate champions in the higher live arena tiers. Once the teams have been drafted, the battle begins. It won't be all that different as far as core mechanics are concerned, except you're fighting a real human. So be prepared for nasty surprises that the AI could never come up with. All phases in battle will have an overall time limit and a limit on player turns.
Maybe I missed something, guys. I need to see this again. Maybe something's just not clicking for me, guys. Please help me down low in the comments below. Make it make sense.
Get matched up against an
make it make sense
as soon as possible. After pairing up with an opponent, the battle of wits begins with picking champions. During this phase, both players will pick their champions one by one, building a team of 5. Each player will then get to ban.
So it looks like you randomly, it's going to be random with who gets to pick first. It's going to go back and forth. This whole thing's going to go back and forth. And you'll see who gets to pick first.
Both players will pick their champions one by one, building a team of 5.
Pick one,
each player will then get to ban a single enemy champion from the fight and choose their team leader. No doubt some of you more devious players.
Gotcha. So that's how you get your 4. You get to ban somebody from the other side. Wow.
Will come up with plenty of mind games for this. Oh, and one thing to mention, you won't be able to use duplicate champions in the higher live arena tiers. Once the teams have been drafted, the battle begins. It won't be all that different as far as core mechanics are concerned, except you're fighting a real human. So be prepared for nasty surprises that the AI could never come up with. All phases in battle will have an overall time limit and a limit on player turns. Should the overall time limit run out, both players will receive a defeated result. You're fighting the clock as much as you're fighting your opponents here, so don't try and stall out for the win. On top of the sheer awesomeness of fighting other players in real time, there will be dedicated live arena quests, new artifacts, a new addition to the Great Hall where you can spend your hard-earned live arena.
Yes. Go back.
Arena quests, new artifacts, a new addition to the Great Hall.
Okay, that's a regular Great Hall.
Where you can spend your.
Okay. Speed. Ignore defense? What? So potion keeps great. Ice Golem peak great. Let me turn off the closed caption. Dragon's Lair great. Fire Knight. So we're gonna get a grade based on progression. Or are these things going to help you? These things are going to help you in these specific areas. So you have to do live arena if you want bonus stats for the potion keeps, Ice Golem, Fire Knight, Dragon. I'm sure there's something else under there. Maybe the other dungeons, Sand Devil, Iron Twins, who knows, right? Maybe there's arena as well, because you're going to be able to get more speed here, ignore more defense as well. Wow. Let's continue.
Hard-earned live arena crests and
okay, Spider's Den, Hydra,
but we'll talk
Demon
about
Lord.
all that later.
Okay.
Those are the two main features we'll be working on in the near future, but we also have some significant.
How much speed was that?
Rewards to look forward to, but we'll talk about all that later.
Is this 20 flat speed? Whoa. 20 flat speed. Interesting. Interesting.
Those are the two main features we'll be working on in the near future, but we also have some significant quality of life updates coming too. First of all, We're going to make separate multi-battle settings for various game modes and even for some individual dungeons. This should make it even easier to customize your farming teams and ensure they don't run into any trouble during their artifact hunts. We're also expanding your artifact selling options in multi-battle mode. Right now, you can only choose what rank of artifacts you want to get rid of, but we're changing it so you can pick which artifacts you want to keep based on the rank, rarity, type, set, specific.
I already knew this was coming, man. They're trying to they're trying to eliminate RSL helper, like the need for RSL helper, trust me. But until they give everyone like unlimited multi-battles, they're not gonna be able to do it.
Fix substats or any combination of these factors. It won't be difficult to set up and it'll make your farming a lot smoother. We're also adding a new sorting option for artifacts and accessories that'll allow you to sort your gear by stats. For players with many artifacts, it should help you keep on top of things.
They also would need to add like a mercy counter to the game.
Finally, we're going to sort out the chaos that is the Fragment Summons tab. Champions that are currently unavailable by any means will be hidden from the list, unless you've got at least one of their fragments. It's a small enough change, but it'll make navigating fragment summons much easier. And finally, it wouldn't be a What's Next video without showing off some awesome new champions in the pipeline. Many of these fabulous barbarians, fashionable Ogrins, and their friends are all but ready to jump into the summoning pool and join the fight for Teleria. A few are still in the early stages of development, and we need to iron out some new mechanics. They'll be worth the wait, and we think you guys will love them. And that's it for this episode of What's Next in Raid. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to keep up with all the
Okay. So this is a lot to take in, guys. There's going to be a bunch of stuff added to the game. Now, let me just recap here. So as far as the QOLs, they're going to add some gear, expanded multi-battle settings so that we can do stuff with gear, you know, cleansing ahead of time, which is great. Artifact management, multi-battles, new artifacts and accessory sorting options, improved fragment summoning. Okay. Let's go back here. Right after this, because I missed something.
to set up, and it'll make your farming a lot smoother. We're also adding a new sorting option for artifacts and accessories that'll allow you to sort your gear by stats. For players with many artifacts, it should help you keep on top of things. Finally, we're going...
Okay, that's going to make gear cleansing within the game a lot more easy. A lot more easy, and it's going to, you know, just make building easy. All right, so I really like a lot of these changes. I really like a lot of these additions. Really interested to see, you know, we did see the point value. Hold on, when he clicked on the speed, when we saw the point value, so you need you need 20 golds to get level 10 speed. Well, that's gonna be level 10 everything. No, you need 2,000 of them. Sheesh, 2,000. So 100 bronze, 300. So you're gonna need 1,000 bronze. You're gonna need, what's that? 3,000 silvers. And what's this? 5,000. Just taking a guess here. 4.8. 4.8K golds. So they really, like, people are gonna be doing this. But geez, 30-minute fights though. You have a 30-minute limit. They really expecting people to be doing one fight for 30 minutes? That's actually crazy. But I am I'm very interested in these new dungeons, of course, because I'm gonna be looking to get some mythical gear. 100%. I could use it. All of the stat requirements in game are going to change as far as PvP is concerned, just because we know the in-game people are going to be pushing this stuff very hard, guys. So, and even the people who are just hardcore gamers, even in the early game, they're going to be going hard. So if you are free to play, if you are a casual gamer, the game could get significantly more difficult for you. if you are, you know, casual, because the people who go hard, they're about to be going hard, guys. Let's see. What else do we have? So obviously dungeons, hard mode dungeons, live arena, which they said they're not really giving us too much more information on, and a few of these QOLs. So nothing about increasing the energy cap. Nothing about, you know, some of the other stuff. Nothing about bringing sacred shards back to the login page or any of that jazz. But some updates for sure. We could definitely expect this to be coming very soon, I would say. They canceled CVC, so yeah, we should be expecting this sometime within the next 2 weeks, hopefully. Probably before the next CVC. And hopefully they do get it rolled out as soon as possible, because otherwise, like, people waiting on RSL Helper are going to be, you know, waiting for that to update for CVC so they could get their max points if they don't have multi-battles. But what do you guys think about the updates? What are you excited about, you know, coming to the game? Are you excited about the gear? Are you excited about Live Arena? Are you excited about these QOLs with the gear? I know this is probably the thing I am, you know, most excited about, other than the dungeons, because it's going to take some time to figure those dungeons out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think below. Thank you for watching, of course, always, and your support. We are, you know, just rounding over 3,600 subscribers, guys. We're trying to get to 8K subscribers as soon as possible. I'm trying to get test server access because I would like to test out a ton of champions, even champions that aren't new champions. I want to be able to test them out, you know, the ones that I don't have on my account, just so I can, you know, when I'm helping people, I can do it better. So thank you for all your support. I look forward to your continued support. But until next time, guys, be good and be well.